So hi judges, my name is Sajjit Singh Bedi and I'm the founder and CEO of BookMyChotu.com. And along with me, I have my cousin brother and co-founder, Govinddeep Singh Kandhari. In today's hectic lifestyle, we face so many domestic issues with our helpers. With BookMyChotu.com, you can have helpers at just 90 rupees an hour.
From walking your dogs to standing in long queues.
From cleaning your house to shifting your house.
From your grocery shopping to even helping you at the office. We are just available at 90 rupees an hour.
We have successfully completed 3,000 hours by serving 600 customers already in just 4 months of time with a near to zero marketing cost. We are here to raise 40 lakh rupees with exchange of 15% of our company. And with this money and your expertise, we want a stronger team and strengthen our operations. So judges, please decide who would help the two Chotus standing in front of you.
Guys, so where are you operating now?
We are entirely in Delhi NCR at the moment.
So anybody calls you, you will provide Chotu.
So look, having a Chotu around is always helpful for all of us.
Yep.
But how do you make sure that the Chotu you're providing is safe at home? There's no something that comes back to you as a liability. Obviously, you have to avoid theft. You have to avoid not safe situations.
So that's a very good question. So what we've done is that since 3 months, we've tied up with a big security company which does a lot of due diligence already, which has good corporate connections. So they are manpower specialists and they provide us with the helpers. Additional to that, on our website also we've put in, and even on our customer communication, we just tell our customers to check the Chotus pre and post the service.
How do you ensure that there is quality for that 90 rupees an hour? Because one Chotu to the other Chotu, there would be a disparity in terms of the quality that
Because the training level is the same, sir.
You said Chotu for whatever you want to do.
Yes, yes.
So it depends, like you said, can come to the office to clean up, but could also, but if one Chotu can't cook, the other can cook, how would you know?
So what we try to do here is that, for example, there is a customer who calls Chotu named as Sundar. We try to map Sundar only to its booking for the next time, until and unless there's a bad feedback about that boy. So we try to do that, whereas customers only ask us that you please send that person.
But there's a problem with that, because if I start liking Sundar, then I won't need BookMyChotu, I'll start going to Sundar directly.
Right. So we do tell this to customers that it depends totally on the availability of that guy.
There is only one reason why he will not leave you.
Yeah.
For example, if he is on full time with someone and he's earning 10,000, and if he joins you and you give him a revenue of say more than 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 joining BookMyChotu.com,
Because we can incentivize.
So that's the only reason, or that's the only incentive or motivation if he has to be with you.
See, for domestic help, the ticket size for a domestic helper at home is never 10,000 rupees. So they would never match our salaries.
So what are
they
you
would
matching
give-
with? Is it 5,000?
It's like around 5,000-6,000.
But where does the minimum wage come into that?
So
Every
minimum
state
wage
will
is
have that.
what we provide.
Do you know what the minimum wage in Delhi today is?
It's about 7,800 rupees.
No sir, it's 16,000 now. The new labor notification just came out. Minimum wage in Delhi is 16,000 rupees.
One, I think the word Chotu is very demeaning.
Yeah.
Second, you mentioned you've tied up with a pool of people who send in these resources to you. But how do you ensure that the minimum wages are fulfilled, given the fact that you won't have a turnaround at all points in time? So if on average you get 4 hours per person per day, how are you going to make ends meet?
And no control over minimum wage. It's been changing every 6 months in every state.
It's an Indian culture. We're connecting to the Indian culture. In my house, I call my Chotu, I call him
Well, I'm
Chotu.
not sure. It doesn't happen in
And,
my house. I call them by their names, but I don't call
But guys,
people.
no, he
That's
has
like
a very valid point for you, because I hope you know what just happened with Flipkart's ad. So in that ad they used the Gorkha, and it has become a very big issue in our country.
Right. Get back to that.
Come back to the business side of it. How do you
We can see
keep these guys engaged? Are you able to provide them with regular income or?
I think fundamentally that's going to be a big problem if you're going to recruit these people and make that your inventory or your cost center, because your demand's going to keep fluctuating. And if you're going to have a continued cost source where you'll give them fixed salaries, which you will need to do, I think it's going to be a big bottleneck in terms of scaling up.
So we'll open some skill institutes where we'll have people who will come in the institute for 4-5 days, and we'll give them on-job training. So these jobs would be sufficing our bookings as well, because such things happen when there's Diwali, when there's some occasion.
But that's the basic problem. So you'll have a jump in demand when you have festive seasons,
Right.
or during certain hours of the day. And for the remaining hours of the day or during the lean seasons,
No, that's what we
you will
tie
have
with
no job.
offices. we tie up with the what you call B2B, the offices and all. We tie up with them.
In that scenario also, what we are looking at is that we'll do some prime hours like what the other taxi companies are doing. So I really relate to those companies for this idea. What they do is that they charge a little more on the high premium timings, and we can do for the lean timings when we identify that in next 6 months, we'll try to reduce our cost further. So
I
the
just
lean
think
gap is
it's
also
a little
better.
different because in a cab company, you typically have fuel as your biggest cost center. And only if you operate the car, do you burn the fuel. Whereas here, in your case, if you're going to create your own center, if you've got a back-to-back tie-up or whatever you're doing, you'll need to give them fixed salaries at all points in time.
Right.
And you're not earning anything against that.
Right.
So I'm not very sure about the economics of the business.
So we are assuming that at least 90% of our staff should get busy with the bookings. 10% is something what would remain idle in sometimes. But we are trying to mitigate that gap by decreasing the lates in the
So I have just a couple of comments.
Yeah,
I think first comment is your name obviously is limits the business model. Second thing is I think the challenge that I faced is whenever you get some helper to come to your house, right? There is a long training period. Generally, I've seen a person joins us. After a few months, they start understanding what we mean by a certain sentence, how the lay of the house is, what tasks are required, how do you serve guests. There is this, and every household has its own sort of training period, right? So the very fact is that if I have to get somebody today for 4 hours, and then he understands a little bit of the house, and then somebody else lands up, the whole painful process. So I don't know, once you get repeat customers, you'll realize. So I find this whole model very limiting, especially with minimum wage, safety aspects of it. I think it's a very, very complex business model. So I would not want to invest in this business.
So guys, let me tell you where I am. I like businesses which are about knowledge, which are about value addition, which are about increasing skills. I like the idea of creating skills for people who don't have it.
Right.
But you're still trading off time. So that basically means you're going to pay somebody a monthly salary, and then based on the number of hours, you're going to try and make money. It's body shopping, right? And to me, that's not a business which is about knowledge, which is about expertise, but it's more about just trading off manpower cost. So I don't think it's a business for me. So I think I'm going to pass on the deal.
I'm going to pass as well.
Me too.
So my recommendation to you guys will be to rethink the entire model and come back at some point of time and approach the investors. At this stage, I'll pass this.
All the best to you guys.
All the best.
Thank
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We managed to get a lot of feedbacks, which were really good, but we didn't get the money. But I think knowledge really matters.
Who wants to become Uber? They just don't understand the model of it. That repetition is a problem. पहला कस्टमर मिल जाएगा ग्रेट दूसरी बार जिंदगी में नहीं आएगा.
See, your name doesn't.
Sundar will be very happy. Will very happy to stay with me if I call him once. If I like him, I'll keep him.